Welcome back to Cardboard Box. Today we're going to be looking at Ace Tumbler. The first offering of this new company is a Masterpiece-style take on Cliffjumper. Without getting too far into detail, I can honestly say the packaging for this product was amazing and second to none. From the packaging alone, you can tell a lot of love went into this figure. The car mode of this spot is a faithful representation of a Porsche 924. I had no idea that Cliffjumper turned into a Porsche. Looking at the G1 toy or cartoon, I would never have thought that that was a Porsche. Right away you can tell that they're going with the traditional style of a Masterpiece transformer. That's to say, a realistic vehicle mode and a bot mode that is a combination of toy and cartoon. Putting him next to some car bots, he does look a little small in scale. I'm not really a car guy, so I don't know for sure. If there's any experts out there, let me know. Is this guy too small, or is he just right? All the gorgeous red you see on him is a beautiful coat of red paint. It covers the die-cast parts as well as the plastic parts, gives it a totally even color scheme throughout. And since Cliffjumper is a sports car, let's give him a handling test. Supposedly, Cliffjumper was one of the fastest, brashest Autobots. He'd be the first one to rush headlong in the battle. He was a risk taker. That's why he was called Cliffjumper. Of course, this toy is called Tumbler. Sometimes when you take a risk, you get hurt. As a new third-party company, Ace certainly took a lot of risk with this toy, but I think going after Cliffjumper was a smart move. For many Masterpiece collectors, the lack of a Cliffjumper represented a gap in their collection. Tumbler easily fills that hole, and he fills this hole too. Yes, he easily passes Prime's trailer test. Roll out, Lightning McQueen! When I first saw pictures and videos of Tumbler online, I was amazed. No one was talking about his panel lines, but these gaps that are readily apparent there. I said, I ain't getting that. He was overpriced, and then eventually his price dropped. I was like, okay, it's like 50-60% off, let's do it. And I transformed him, and in hand, he was great. The panel lines, I didn't have any issues with it until I started making this video. I must have mistransformed him somehow because these gaps started to appear in the back. I found I could mitigate the gap on one side, then the other side would be that much larger. Whether I mistransformed it or not, I think it's just something people should be aware of going into it. Another thing you should be aware of that isn't in the instructions or anywhere in the packaging is that you can actually store his gun underneath him, which I thought was pretty cool. I don't know if this is intentional, but I found a way to do it. Alright, on the transformation. Unhook the front of the car, pull up on the passenger side foot while pushing down on the driver's side foot. This is actually the most difficult part of the process. Pull both feet forward, pull back on the rear, hinge the legs into position, fold the hood down and underneath the windshield. Now let's move on to the feet. Fold up the grey rectangle pieces, collapse the doors around the back of the foot and tab them in. End off the feet by flipping in the wheels. Fold down the arms part way, hinge up the torso, rotate the wheel wells, position the arms, flip down his wee little baby bib, hinge up the rear window, and collapse the bumper. Fold it down and over the head, and please note it does not tab in. Finally, rotate out the hands and rotate the head, and you're done. What a stout, handsome mini-bot he turned out to be. His G1 counterpart was also short and a little wide in the midsection, and he looks a lot more sensible when compared to his G1 packaging artwork. Ugh. He hits all the color cues from the G1 cartoon, but has put on a few pounds since the mid-80s. Up close you can see he has a MP Bumblebee-esque type of face, yet it's distinctively his own. This is not the head that was installed with him. He came with 3 heads, but this was by far the best of the bunch. All the heads suffer from the same faults. The red doesn't match the paint of the body. They have soft features and puffy duck face lips. To their credit, they provided some options for us. The head rotates fine. The hinge inside the head that moves up and down was very loose, so I actually had to add some nail polish there to give it some friction. I cheated a bit here and used a hinge at the base and neck to give added range of movement. There's a ball peg at the shoulder and a hinge on the torso. His arms are kind of short, so I like to hinge his shoulders a bit lower to make them seem a bit longer. I believe that's the correct positioning, but you do have other options. His stubby little arms have a great range of movement. The elbows can bend greater than 90 degrees, and depending on how you rotate his shoulder joint and the cut and the hinge, you can get an even greater range of movement out of it. And of course he has rotation at the shoulder and at the upper bicep. His arms are basically an improved design on Masterpiece Bumblebees. For instance, there's a panel that covers his hollow forearm. Ace also produced a hand cannon accessory for this mold, but unfortunately it only comes packaged with their Hiccups robot. The hand is just a solid sculpt, but it does a mean fist bump. Here's Tumbler fist bumping Citizen Stack, Optimus Prime, Transistor, Bronny, Huffer, Bumblebee, Hi-Fi, and Spike. Besides bumping fists, it can also hold his gun. His blaster is made from silver-colored plastic. It looks a little cheap, and it's loose in his hand. It's much like Bumblebee's blaster, but it has a bigger tip. The details on the silver gun also feel softer. For comparison, Bumblebee's gun was a lot tighter in the hand, to the point where you could almost not get it out. Tumbler also comes with a big bazooka-type gun, made from the same silver-colored plastic. I think it's from that one episode where he took a shot at Megatron and missed. I'm not really sure. It features a light-up gimmick, but I really couldn't be bothered with much batteries for it. If you untap his windshield, he has a decent tilt back and an ab crunch forward. And of course, he has waist rotation. His side mirrors are made out of a pliable plastic. They're flexible and they won't break. He can easily do the splits in either direction. There's a full thigh rotation, but I didn't show it all because his feet are rather large. Everything that's red on his feet is die-cast metal painted. It makes him really stable, but he can't hold his leg up. It will keep falling down. He can bend 90 degrees at the knee, but it's not pretty. With all that weight in his feet, he can pull off a wicked bullet time dodge, or win a limbo contest. He has a little bit of ankle pivot, but if you move the door panels, you can get much more range on that pivot. So while he can't put an unsupported foot up in the air, he can do a pretty good walk cycle. But why walk when you can roll? Travel in style. Travel in Segway mode. Tumbler comes uniquely packaged with a black display stand and a clear display case. It's a nice thought, I guess, but I've got no use for it, so it might as well disappear. It would be impossible to review Tumbler without talking about Bumblebee. For all intents and purposes, Tumbler is based off MP Bumblebee's engineering. Just like in the cartoon, Cliffjumper is a smidge taller. He's missing a reversible chest logo. His feet are longer and heavier because of the die-cast. Tumbler's back is different because it doesn't rotate. Instead, it uses a hinge to fold back. Tumbler's arms have a cleaner design and no kibble hanging off it. They even have a better range of movement. Bumblebee just has the better fit and finish, even right down to the gun. But he doesn't have one of these.
Remember Sally when I promised to kill you last?
You did!
I lied.
Don't worry, kids. Robots don't really die. They don't truly live either, but anyway, they don't die. So, how did Ace do with their first offering of Tumbler? The packaging was excellent. It came with lots of extras. The transformation was intuitive. Most of the materials seemed good except for the guns. They struggled with their head designs, but they got something that's usable. And they did a pretty good job of filling a hole in the marketplace. There's a whole lot of love gone into making this toy. Its original price was way too high, but now that it's 50-60% off that, it's the perfect time to pick it up. There's no doubt in my mind that a better version of Cliffjumper will come out, and for most people, this is just going to be a placeholder in their collection. I used to think that Cliffjumper was just a red Bumblebee. Now I know the difference. Volkswagen Bumblebee wishes he was a Porsche. So, what gets reviewed next? You decide. Will it be... oh snap! That's Mitron.
Total victory is within my grasp.
Could it be Takara's MP10 Optimus Prime? Oh buddy.
Now follow me and we'll give Megatron a taste of his own medicine.
Or whatever's inside the mystery box. Instead of voting in the comments below, let's try something new. I'm going to ask that you make your vote using the poll that should be appearing at the top of the screen right now. Thanks for voting. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review of Tumbler. I certainly enjoyed making it. What are your thoughts on Tumbler? Is he a successful version of Cliffjumper? Is he worth it nowadays at a reduced price? Or are you going to wait for a better one to come along? Let me know in the comments below. Share and enjoy. You've been watching Cardboard Bots. See you next time.
On the limbo clock. Hey, let's do the